Greetings. Today I have kind of a question I want to put to you. Have you ever felt like your clothes were getting too tight? Your pants aren't either staying up where they're supposed to, they're falling down, or you've noticed that they're kind of stuck right where they are, and the tops of your pants are flown over the waistband of your pants. They're uncomfortable no matter what you do. They're just uncomfortable, especially if you sit down and the crotch goes out. But do you do something about it? Do you react to the uncomfortableness of the clothes? Do you think, oh my gosh, I better go on a diet? That's the most common fix that people will say. I'm either eating too much, I partied too much, I drank too much, I'm not getting enough exercise. I've been there. I've done that. I've been at that spot where my clothes were uncomfortable. And like many during the lockdown time, we put on stretch pants, right? In fact, I work from home. So most of the time, I put on stretch pants because they are comfortable, because I don't have to think about the nagging feeling of being too tight, being not right within my clothes. And that leads to another episode of your why you do something or why you don't do something. Many of us will sit in that uncomfortable position of, okay, my clothes are too tight, whether it's through the arms, through a shirt, whether it's across your chest, like you're gonna outgrow, pop all the buttons. We sit in that soup of uncomfortableness. And if we make a decision that, okay, I have to change something, I have to do something, it's like the 1st of January when people say, I am going to eat healthier, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to drink less, I'm not going to do anything that's going to be bad for my health and well being. I'm going to do this. And they kind of like pile on these, I'm going to do this, I can, or I should. And you know what they say about when you should all over yourself. The fact is, most people who say in January that I'm going to change my life in a month's time, 2 months' time, they started to retract and fall off and go back into the old habits, the old mindset. And this is what is really important is the old mindset that we have. Whether it's that personal not feeling comfortable in clothing or whether you're not comfortable in your job. You're not comfortable working for the same corporation. You're not comfortable anymore doing the same old thing day after day, repeating the same patterns, the same habits, and not getting anywhere. That feeling of, I'm like, I'm really stuck right where I am. And it often can happen in your personal life as well. You can have that feeling of, I'm stuck. I'm not able to grow and evolve. And if I do, what's going to happen? That's part of that voice that we don't say out loud. I don't like my boss. I don't like my job. I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't like my partner. I don't like where I live. I've had it with my family. I'm not going to do this anymore. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We don't want to be rejected by anyone else. And so we sit in that suffering. All of us have wake up calls. And sometimes there are huge wake up calls that we go, What just happened? Like losing a job, losing a spouse, or going to a doctor for your annual physical and finding out your insulin resistance, you have heart disease, you have cancer, you have any number of illnesses, and you're sitting there like, what? Oh, well, wait a minute. So I can take a pill, right? And I can just feel better. Ah, I can get the next new job. It's okay. Only they're not hiring what you're doing. And it's not okay. When you lost a loved one that's no longer there to support you, that's the biggest push off the end of the cliff that you'll ever get and have to stand on your own 2 feet. In this day and age, resilience is key, but understanding your own makeup and where you're coming from and why. Why is it that I'm going to dedicate myself to my health and my well being? For me, it was you're insulin resistant. You are pre diabetic. That's even hard just to say it at my lips. I was like, are you kidding me? No. What did that really mean? So, like most, I went on a journey. I went to try and, oh, I'm going to figure this out. So, if I can't lose, which I need to lose this extra weight to get healthier, to get to that point, because that's what the doctor was looking at and wasn't giving me the full explanation of what does this really mean physiologically to my body. But did I ask? I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe I just accepted what I was being told and thought, okay, well, I had a brother who had that, and I had a dad who had that, and they had heart issues and they had kidney issues. Well, where does that stop? Where does it stop for the change in your life to finally say, I have a greater why than to think about all of that disease, to go into thinking, I'm just going to take some magical little pill that covers up the symptoms, but never gets to the root of the problem. And I'm a person who wants to get to the root of the problem. And on my journey, I did intermittent fasting, had fabulous results, was feeling wonderful, lost quite a bit of weight, and felt that freedom of, oh, well, maybe I'll add this back into my diet and a little bit of that and a little bit. And before you knew it, for the first time ever, I gained back what I had lost. My metabolism wasn't working the way it was. I wasn't a great metabolic switcher from the fat to the sugar and the sugar to the fat. And I needed to do a deeper dive and to understand, what does my body need? Because I have a big why. My why is to be here for another 65, 80 years. I don't know. I've always known exactly a date when I will probably pass away. And I'm not done. I'm here. So if I'm here, I need to take control of me. I hired a functional nutritionist, and little by little, we've discovered what my body didn't have that it needed, how to kick my butt into getting that metabolism going. But even deeper than that, I started to understand what visceral fat was, and fat around your heart and fat around your liver, and all of these aspects that make up the health and well-being in our lives. I thought I always ate pretty well, but it's not exactly true. I don't think that I realized to the extent of the gluten intolerance. Because when I found out I was gluten intolerant, I was really quite sick for a while. But then I didn't react like that, right? So she must be okay. I can just every once in a while eat it. And it's not about restricting anything, it's about understanding. And this was the key for me that I went on my journey. I wanted to understand the physiological makeup of who I am. I wanted to go on the inside. I'm a great at meditating and bringing in the light. I'm also a great healer. I've done healing for other people, but there are times when you need to do healing for yourself. When you hold that container of love and compassion for you, that's where the biggest growth comes in life. When you heal from the inside out. And today, yeah, I feel really good. But much more than that, I know my why and I know my mindset clicked in as to what feels good is not being on a diet. It is not restricting all kinds of food that I'll never ever have again. No, it's understanding at the baseline for me that health and well being is so much better than that instant gratification of something I haven't eaten in forever. And even if I decide to have that slice of pizza, that bowl of ice cream, it's different than it was before. I'm not looking to have the same thing the next night. I'm not looking for something more. I don't have to look outside of me to satisfy me. And my taste buds have changed. I love roasted vegetables. I love a good salad. And I don't eat all the extras on it. But I do need my why every day to remind myself what it is I am here for, my purpose, my voice, my working as a coach. And I hope that for you, you know your why. What is so important about that, either when it comes to your health or well being, or when it comes to your mental health and well being? When something feels uncomfortable, that doesn't feel right, that often can be a gut reaction or even your heart saying, it isn't right. When you tap in to your inner guidance and wisdom, makes a big difference in your life. And pay attention to those times where you don't feel comfortable. Those are the times we need to make a change. And if you got a story to share, I would love your comments and your feedback on your questions. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.